your visual perception is just directly there and something that it's so intrinsically attached to what we are that we can't see beyond this.
I would agree. Meherwan is a student at Yale-NUS, and I'll let him tell you the rest. That rhymes, because I'm a musician.
The expected answer, I think, in most cases would be, oh yeah, let me come initiate you, convert you into my faith, right?
Yes.
But imagine that someone tells you the opposite, says, I know this is true in your faith as well, and I want you to be the one who goes and finds it, to be the one who goes and creates it if it isn't there yet.
So how can it be, especially when certain Christians say that Jesus was the only one?
Right.
Someone in India is saying Shiva is the only one. Someone in the Middle East is saying Muhammad's the only one.
Yeah.
Someone in China is saying Guan Yin's the only one.
Yeah.
Another dude saying Buddha's the only one. Only you guys are smart. Everyone else is a dumb fuck, basically. That's what you're implying.
Yeah.
You might not know that you're implying that, but you are. Because how can there be 6 only ones? That's against the definition of the word one. There's clearly a common denominator. If you look from the goal of kindness and love, and not violence and let's chop their head off because they don't believe us, clearly, all faiths were talking about the same shit. A great cheat code is to always just start with, I heard. I heard. I'm not saying this, I'm heard it.
I think what you said is unbelievably correct about all these small things gradually making a difference.
The guy who wants press the nukes,
He's like, nah man, not gonna do it because I got a massage.
Yeah, get a foot massage. Let's chill out for a while.
Step. And then at the top, so many of the CEOs are like, okay, now I should go back into spirituality.
Yeah, I said, what do rich people do once they get rich? Follow their soul. What do poor people who don't care about money do? Follow their soul. So what do you think life is about, Sherlock?
Definitely.
Why do people feel like, whoa, I feel so holy when I'm inside the pyramid in Egypt?
Yeah.
That's not just you feeling the coolness and shade of not having the sun. I mean, it's obviously other things. Because I know people who would be like, of course you feel different. The sun's not shining here. Your temperature's different. So everything's different. Like, dude, this is different, right? Or you would feel spiritual if that's the case under a freaking bus stop that shelters you from the sun, but you don't. Right? Why? Thanks, man. I'm just gonna Reiki my food. Don't get weirded out.
Oh no, please.
Want me to Reiki your food too?
Please, yes.
Okay, that's okay. Let's leave it there.
Okay.
All good. So I started to Reiki the food because it basically takes away the energy of whatever energy you want to cleanse out of it.
Yeah.
So for me, I cleanse out anything that's not in line with my highest and truest light. Or it could be the emotion of the animal.
Yeah.
It could be a person. You know that the person cooking it, the energy goes into your food.
Oh, definitely. Very good. Seems one of the byproducts is that it tastes better too.
Nobody on YouTube is gonna believe that shit. But yeah,
Doesn't matter. It's an embodied experience. So, in the design thing, there's not
I was just gonna ask you about that. Okay, that's
perfect. Of course, there's different types of design, right? Made with different intentions. And my main focus is on 2 things right now, which I haven't been able to ascertain which one yet. One is human-centered design, which is taking the human as the primary. The reason this place is built is for this human to thrive, which is one way of looking at it. And the other is bio-inspired design, which is things like biomimicry, where you immediately why'd you look at me that way?
I'll tell you. But carry on.
You take nature as a source of inspiration and as a mentor to kind of understand how to build structures better. And it starts as simple and very famous as the ant hill, the termite hill that is kept very well ventilated through its internal cooling system of shafts, etc. But it can also look as complex as finding a material that is perfectly suited to build infrastructure like roads. It's just starting out in Singapore. There are only a few people talking about it, and I think it's something really worth getting into. For the simple reason that it's very difficult to tell nature that it's doing something wrong. And if we're copying nature, most likely we're not doing something wrong. As long as you do it mindfully.
So the reason I looked at you like that is because we became friends with one of the people who's doing it in Singapore. Maybe you heard about their company, BioSEA. BioSEA?
Yeah,
You know them?
I have heard of them. Anuj.
Anuj.
Right?
So I was at Anuj's kid's birthday party a few months ago.
Well,
Yeah, last night was his wife Priyanka's birthday. We were neighbors in Treehouse.
no way.
Yeah. So we live on the 22nd floor. They live on the 20th floor when we were there.
Okay.
So we became like friends because we have the same sort of demographic. Couple with a small kid of 4 years old.
Right. Ah.
And yeah, recently at the photo I posted with Vivian Balakrishnan. Don't know if you saw that on socials, but that was with his wife. Because he went to take his kid Adi to the other end of the playground. There was a mid-autumn festival party.
Right. Right.
Vivian was supposed to show off.
Okay.
And I and Kai, we went late because I was working on a video edit. And we were just like, oh, he's probably, done it at 6 p.m. We're not going to run into it. And then just sitting there, I'm like squatting down, most unglamorous position, like really stretching out my butt and my hamstrings and everything. So then I stand up and and then I feel a hand on my shoulder behind. Like, hey guys, how are you all doing? So I thought that was Anuj.
Right. Right.
I turn around, I'm staring Vivian in the face. And it's like, we're doing good. Oh, we thought you weren't coming. Like, we're full on casual bro mode with him. I was like, oh, no, I have a few places to be tonight. Then I was like, let's take a picture. Took a picture. Then he's like, oh, no, I think this way is better because the light's shining our faces. Like, I stopped short of saying, man, you should be on my YouTube too. Like, we should do the YouTube channel together. Because you're right.
Wow.
Anyway, so Anuj.
Yeah.
So
What a small world, huh?
So we're good friends. And as you were talking, I was realizing, and this is going to sound crazy to some people, and I've been pondering this concept the last few weeks, or even today when I met you and we were on the rooftop. Have you heard of the concept of building a new earth spiritually? No. Okay, so it's all the rage in the Western spiritual circles. You follow all the memes on Facebook and you join up pages like Spirituality 101 or so there's quotes going around about the new earth or 5D earth. It is not the 3D earth anymore.
Right.
Blah, blah. I just realized, oh my God, these meetups are now divine. Like you saying you want to meet up in my mind, or rather in my soul, or fuck it, in my being, I'm taking it as a meetup of spiritual beings who are meant to awaken the planet during this time. Yeah, and for everybody watching, I'm not saying we're superior or anything. I'm just saying we're different. Like how doctors would meet up to discuss medical theories, spiritual people meet up to discuss awakening theories. And just like that concept of your vibration heals the people around you, like I was telling you, this meeting right now sort of heals people. Like everyone at this coffee shop, they're getting a dose of our vibration, just like we're getting a dose of their vibration.
Yeah.
Switching on this YouTube video, although it's not the most spectacular or most polished,
Yeah.
inspires other people to pursue their passions.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to tell you on the rooftop, so like, as we were walking, I was like snapping my fingers in this now. And then you talked about that music professor, right? Like I did a music degree. I may not be like the most famous performer on earth or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I go to the MRT and I'm just having a mood where I'm like snapping and people, I literally see three people to my left and right start humming and bouncing. Like they don't have a care in the world, but previously they did.
Right.
They're all very like, suddenly it's like, I'm like, oh, cool, I inspired them today.
Yeah.
Nobody knows about it. It's not recorded.
Yeah.
I get a Grammy for it.
Yeah.
But I made 6 lives better by a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this biomimicry thing and the design thing I talked about, it's also a connection of, so 2 things. One is like, now you're impacted with that design.
Yeah.
Spiritually, like you said during the area about how people don't even have a clue what they're being impacted by on a daily basis, which is the secret weapon of marketing agencies.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine if it can be so powerfully used for a personal aim, how powerfully it can be used for a global improvement aim.
Exactly. So that's one thing. And the second thing is just you talking about it. And now me linking you up with Anuj might bring some fresh perspectives to his company he might bring some fresh perspectives to you or provide some opportunity. And then once you graduate and you're also like in the industry, as they say, then you can both provide each other opportunities. I also noticed that with this like biomimicry and especially the people who are putting nature into buildings,
Yeah.
it's a very supple form of awakening people. Rather than saying, yo, I'm a healer, I'll fucking heal you, right? Like, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Like, do you want Reiki healing? Do you want Reiki healing? Do you want a peace? So this is a more supple way. And I noticed there's a bit of a gentle kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So you have a bit of a gentle vibe. Anuj is a very gentle vibe. Maybe according to his wife and my life, too gentle. Because you know that whole concept of feminine and masculine, and how today's men are too soft and women are too hard. I'm not just saying Anuj in particular, I'm just saying all men across the board and women, because of the conditioning of the last few generations, women have become too masculine and men have become too feminine. To have a strong polar dynamic where we attract strongly to each other, it means to balance out a little bit. But anyway, that's a side topic. We can go into that. And there's one more lady, Gem. I think you literally read out the name of a company, Humankind Design. Or you said Human-Centered Design, right?
Human-centered.
There's a company called Humankind Design.
Nice.
I applied as a designer. I didn't get the job because she saw my LinkedIn profile and realized, oh, there's some synchronicities here,
Yeah.
similarities. They also been on a bit of a spiritual bender.
Okay.
They were a design company.
Right.
I'm not sure whether they're designing buildings and stuff yet. Husband's name is Juhu, and he did talk about products or that they're now starting to talk to their corporate clients about not just here's a poster for your Christmas party, but how can this product impact people?
Yeah.
And I was like, I was about to tell Juhu, and maybe now he'll find out through this video, dude, that's not a design company anymore. You're like changing the world.
A psychology company.
So it's a way bigger mission. Like, stop calling yourself a design company.
What you said about subtle changes is what I think is often overlooked. And speaking about both the design point and framing of things and like all these marketing companies, the thing is the awakening has to be subtle, which is nature's way of doing it, or aggressive. And if that awakening is aggressive, it's going to look much scarier perhaps than if it grows like a tree, you know? Like slowly fruits start blooming, people start awakening. Not to say that I think I just at the beginner level, beginner stages still. It has to be a little slow. And usually that slowness comes with a nudge. And all design can really do is tell you about this nudge or make you feel that nudge at a stronger level than you would otherwise. So there is a lot of thought and effort that goes into these things, especially in the human-centric. If you want to make it a spiritual process, then it has to be more human-centric focused than perhaps bio-inspired. The bio-inspired is still in the engineering and design aspect of the building, but the human-centered is then the way that you place the building in relation to the sun. In fact, whether you can get light into your room or not, whether you can see the moon, how much green space there is, things like that.
I was actually watching a documentary for the second time. I think you like it, Ancient Apocalypse. Graham Hancock.
Oh, he's written a book about the secret of the pyramids or something else.
Lots of books. And just a side note, I just want to say, like, I love how people are so spiritual, but then they dumb it down for the masses. Because when you watch this program, you could just, if you've been into spirituality like I have, or many other people have, you could just tell he's just stopping himself from saying, all you motherfuckers need a slap in the face, but he's crazy for lightly. You know what I mean? He's not like, it's like, his whole program, now that I think about it, is about design. It's about how they design ancient, advanced civilizations, design structures to face the stars.
Yeah.
Because he thinks there are messages coming from space. Just conclusions based on stars and not so esoteric.
Yeah.
But just like, they were trying to warn us about incoming comets or cataclysmic events and so on.
Right.
And maybe it'll help your philosophy through or give you some good case studies to talk about because, so he says that people have literally like called him and they showed me like screenshots or during the documentary of people calling him a lunatic, mainstream archaeology. They don't accept that or they spotted this evidence and they don't want to accept that there's all this stuff under the hills in Indonesia. So Indonesia and Singapore are actually the same land geographically. It was called Sunda land before the sea levels rose. And so when I saw that for the second time yesterday, just for kicks, I put up the documentary again, 8 episodes. I put on episode 1 to show my dad. I want to open his mind a bit too. And I was like, no wonder when I go to Indonesia, I feel this inexplicable spiritual feel now. Because an ancient civilization has been there and a much more advanced civilization. And if you follow the fact that energy carries and translates over space and time, we're being affected by that vibration. Right?
Yes, definitely.
Why do people feel like, whoa, I feel so holy when I'm inside the pyramid in Egypt?
Yeah.
Like, and that's not just you feeling the coolness and shade from not having the sun. I mean, it's obviously other things. It's not just like, oh yeah, of course it's shaded. I know people who would be like, of course you feel different. The sun's not shining here. Your temperature's different. So everything's different. Like, dude.
Sure, that's true as well. But like,
It's true as well, but this is different. Or you would feel spiritual if that's the case under a freaking bus stop. That's so near from the sun. But right? Why?
or at a restaurant or whatever.
It's like,
You're right.
yeah, it's like, come on, dude. Tell me you're like a big accountant or a big consultant at like freaking Boston Consulting Group, BCG, or I work for PNG, but I can't put 2 and 2 together in my little intelligent brain. It really frustrates me. But yeah, the design thing is really, really relevant. Ancient cultures used to do it that way. And one could say that they were in harmony with nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you say, I know you really love nature, I was gonna like interject and say, bro, we're a part of nature, man. And I think that's the part that we're often forgetting is that, like, I know this is very mainstream and repeated, but to remain a part of nature, you have to realize that you're a part of nature, then work as if you're a part of nature instead of like everything else being secondary to your mission of something that might not make sense to us or doesn't really make sense to me and you.
Can you break that down a bit?
Sure. We were speaking about competition earlier.
Yeah.
Right? And in this vicious cycle of competition, if the mission is the ultimate human good, then it seems like everyone is going to be very lonely in that journey of achieving the ultimate human good. Because there's constant hierarchies, there is pushing and shoving, there's moving people out of the way, there is using people as a means to go to the next step. And then at the top, so many of the CEOs are like, okay, now I should go back into spirituality. Like, why do you have to do all that jumping
Exactly.
to then go back into that same sphere?
I actually released a quote on that where it said I said, what do rich people do once they get rich? Follow their soul. What do poor people who don't care about money do? Follow their soul. So what do you think life is about, Sherlock? Yeah, that's true. I feel that. So you're saying that if we always try to be first or sort of go down this route, is that what you said? I missed that part where you see, yeah, that's the goal, then people will be lonely. That's what or you're saying that currently, based on what's happening in society, everyone will be lonely trying to pursue the path of kindness and love because nobody really is doing it. What are you saying there?
What I mean is, thanks for the clarification as well. If we're going to see things as a competition, then it's a very lonely world outside where everyone is out to get you because it's very tough. You can just about trust your family and a few close friends and that a few spheres. But outside of that, neither can you trust the intentions nor the actions of another. And that's just a really scary feeling.
I've lived like that for 32 years. Yeah. It only started changing in like 2017, 18, 19, when I had, like 30 years there, I guess, where I had this massive spiritual awakening. Like it was just 1 month after my track came out on MTV. So all the kids I went to school with in LaSalle, We're like, oh my God, this guy, he's starting to make it and now things are going to roll. And right then, something happens inside me and I took a picture.
Okay.
I actually sat down outside Killarney post office. My wife had to post something that day and we, for some reason, just had to post it there.
Yeah.
And so I stopped the motorbike there and posted it. While she's posting inside, I'm sitting out there. I'm looking at the pavement. Maybe it was the design of the pavement. But something happened. I was just staring down at it. Really casual. I still have the photo, wearing a singlet that we bought from Thailand, berms like this, and slippers, flip-flops here. And I just think, oh fuck, my whole life has been a lie. Just like a spiritual awakening, like an instant acceleration. Which if you are into spirituality, it's other beings awakening you. Like they're like, oh, this guy's ready for a download. Boom.
Yeah.
Push him up 2 levels. So then I went home and I posted the picture. Before that I would never post a picture of me thinking, posted it. And I wrote a heartfelt, what do you call, post on Facebook, and I was like, what is going on? Systems on earth are screwed. Has my whole life been a lie? What's the point of Big First? What's the point of an MTV feature? What's the point of anything? It went on and on and on and on. And the 2 friends, one was my head of subject who had convinced my dad to let me go to LaSalle. Because obviously my parents were freaking out, like, yeah, kid, best school in Singapore, Raffles Institution, Raffles Junior College.
Right.
NUS. Although I don't know why he's in engineering, because they thought I should be in journalism because they know I like to write. So he's sitting there with my dad and convincing him to let me go into music. And then my dad looks at me, he's like, you have 2 weeks. Do you think you can prepare these songs? And I was like, I already learned the songs. So that guy, he wrote there, I think you're undergoing a spiritual awakening. My ex-head of subject comments there. Yeah, another friend, Lorraine, she used to agent one of the bands I was playing in. When I was playing in the band. When I was in art school and trying to play these bar gigs to improve our drumming, they would recommend us to go play them. And she kept in touch because I think I and her, we had this spiritual bond as well. And I realized, because my dad is basically a kind and jovial guy, he has this benevolence, and the benevolence passed down. And he would always tell me, be a kind human, be a nice human, be a kind human, be a nice. So I think she and I, we recognized that in each other. That we were both a bit like, okay, we have this brain that we want this gig to go well, but we also have this other brain where we're like, let's just be nice human beings to each other. Yeah. Fuck the gig, whatever. Yeah. She commented, you're definitely undergoing a spiritual awakening. And this is 2017, and I was like, what the fuck is a spiritual awakening? Because I knew in my music degree, the recital names, every year we had to put up a final year project, which is a show.
Yeah.
And the names were getting more and more spiritual. The last recital I had, it was called Freedom of Expression. I was not intending it to be spiritual. I was just going down the spiritual path without knowing it. And because it was a graduation recital, I don't think anyone really stuck up their nose or a finger to it. And when what kind of a whack name is that for a pop recital?
Yeah.
Should it be like Dope Beats Volume 2 or something like so but when I reflected back, like Steve Jobs says, you can only connect the dots looking backward. Then I realized, oh fuck, I was on this path for a while now. I just didn't know it. And then they both commented, and then that's when why are we talking about the spiritual awakening here?
Does it matter?
Hey, fine. Storytelling. So that's when it all started. But yeah, I feel like all this is just different spiritual people meeting up. There are groups aggressively organizing around Earth. Facebook's one of my main platforms where I hang out. So there are some groups hundreds of thousands of members.
Oh wow, okay.
Which is a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's not so much aggressive agendas or anything. It's in fact the opposite. It's more like love and light.
Yeah. So aggressively love and light.
Yes. So 100,000 empaths come together and this one post that says, I just want to sleep in bed today. That kind of thing. But also metaphysical truths. And through shifting the vibration, I think we can create a better world. As cheesy as that sounds, but you have to be into spirituality to understand that.
Yeah.
So people have often I have fantasized about meeting up with presidents and MPs and so on. Okay. And not telling them what are you doing to the planet, but more
just hanging out with them.
Just hanging out and just talking how could we inject more love? How was your day? You're uptight right now. The fate of 3 million Singaporeans depends on you, or 6 million, wherever we're at right now. How do you feel today? You want a massage? You want to go for some yoga? You want to chill? Because if you do that, and all the leaders around the planet do that, by definition, we're a more chill planet.
Yeah.
The guy who wants like press the nukes,
He's like, nah, man, not gonna do it because I got a massage.
Yeah, just get a foot massage. Like, chill out for a while.
I think what you said is unbelievably correct about all these small things gradually making a difference. I can tell you from personal experience that people's presence, the presence that they bring to the table, indelibly shapes your life. It can make you feel angry, make you feel happy, and it can also open doors for you intellectually. I've had the honor and privilege to hang out with and be around people in Pakistan who have very strong spiritual presence, not only in their communities, but the average person will be able to tell there's something that is not commanding my attention to that person.
Something different about that aura.
Their aura is very strong, but it's very subtle at the same time. It's never imposing. Just being around them was enough for me to slowly shift my direction. I spent about a few days with them in their, for me, it's a sanctuary up at the foothills of the Himalayas.
Oh my God.
In Pakistan.
Wow. And any particular religion or anything?
Yes.
Okay.
Islam,
Okay.
Sufi Islam. So a very mystical sect of Islam that builds on these foundational tenets. According to what Sufism is, it builds on the foundational tenets, but it takes it one step further.
Can anybody go?
Yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely. For us, it was a private thing because we're friends first over everything else. So they invited us as friends. We went as friends. There was no intention. There was only, love as friends. But anyone can go visit their community. It's called the Sultan Bahu community in Pakistan, in Punjab. And
Punjab.
In Punjab.
Yeah, that's the funny thing I find because our helper is Punjabi.
Okay.
And she often talks about Islam. Is it all the same? Like, is it all linked? Like Sikhs and Islam and Christianity? And I know there's some links. I'm just surprised to hear that like you're a Parsi, right? Are you a Parsi? You are a Parsi. So do you identify as Zoroastrian? Or maybe some parts of it inside your life? You definitely don't wear the vest and the kasti and all that, right?
I do actually.
You're not wearing it right now.
I am.
You've got to be shitting me. Are you serious?
You can't see it through this.
No, I can't see it. Or it looks like a muscle tee and nothing goes through that. Oh my God. Okay. Cool. Maybe I'm a bad priest. I'll stop wearing it. Okay. So it's just too hot.
Doesn't make you a bad anyway.
I know. I'm just saying. Like, how did that happen? Like, you're saying Zoroastrian, but then you went to this Muslim hangout in the hills, in a monastery, or
Call it a Sufi hangout.
Sufi hangout.
Yeah.
How did that happen? I personally don't mind it.
No.
Just curious, was it an issue in your life?
Perhaps the best thing that ever happened in my life.
So there's no like cultural, because from what I hear, usually Islam is pretty stiff about. Even Singapore, a lot of friends are like, oh, you must convert to Islam if you get married to us. So what kind of new branch of Islam is this that I've never heard about before?
Maybe it's the true branch that you aren't being told.
Okay.
How do I explain this in a way that will not offend people, but also be as truthful as possible?
A great cheat code is to always just start with, I heard. I heard. I'm not saying this, I just heard it. Like,
I heard people outside of Pakistan have a bad impression of Pakistan. And,
okay.
well, Pakistan is a majority Muslim country.
Okay.
And often the two things are interrelated and interlinked because of the fact that it's majority Muslim, it's an Islamic republic. But there's a lot of spirituality in Pakistan in a very unique way, or perhaps that's my experience of it. So my experience has been of loving kindness and friendship from by the grace of God, all of the communities that I've interacted with. I was born in a Parsi family. But I really only started understanding the tenets of Zoroastrianism after I came to Singapore, when I was pulled out of that circle of being in that culture. Because sometimes when things are too close to you, you can't see them.
Yes.
You can't understand them.
Agree.
Not only the cultural element, but then I was like, hey man, what does the book say? So for my capstone project this semester, my final year thesis, they call it, I'm analyzing the Gathas.
Nice. I tried to do that and failed.
But cool. At a philosophical level, a very simple, straightforward philosophical level. And I think I've learned more in the 6 weeks of analyzing the Gathas about life than I've learned in many, many years at a stretch, even while being in Pakistan. One of the main things is about good and evil, and how you have to fight against evil actively, and you have to fight for good actively, instead of just being good. Because being good means you're in a passive state. But the truth of life is that you have an embodied soul that wants you to be active. Otherwise, we'd just be a tree, man. The reason that we're human is because the core principle of human life is activity. And if you can do that activity well, as Aristotle says, if you can do your function well, then you're a good human, because you are defined by your functions, your activities.
Like your dharma in Hinduism.
All right. Spending those 5 or 6 days with my friends who happen to be Sufi is how I say they're friends first. At the end of it, I asked them one question. I was like, I really love the way that you live your life. What should I do? And they said, go find it and pursue it in your own faith, through Zoroastrianism. The expected answer, I think, in most cases would be, oh yeah, let me come initiate you, convert you into Maker, right?
Yes.
But imagine that someone tells you the opposite, says, I know this is true in your faith as well, and I want you to be the one who goes and finds it, to be the one who goes and creates it if it isn't there yet, or discovers it. And that shook me to the core. I was like, yeah, we're already a small community. We need that energy, that revival. And that revival has to have a philosophical ground. Because if we don't understand what Zoroastrianism is, we can't be Zoroastrian. We can call ourselves Parsi, we can call ourselves Zoroastrians, but we can't really embody that spirit of Zoroastrianism without knowing what it is.
Oh, that's insane. Good sharing. Is there more?
Depends on how much you'd like to hear.
Okay.
I
I was going to add a couple of points to that.
Please.
No, just the part where you said like they asked you to go find it in your own faith. So for the audience and a broad spectrum, I'm being a bit selfish here. I'm pushing my own agendas.
No.
But really my agenda is everyone's agenda. So I've said this like 1,000 times on social media, which is, I really like your friends, by the way, and what they said, because it implies that all prophets, and maybe I'm reaching here a little bit, but all gods, goddesses, spiritual people, priestesses, priests in the past, across religions, across borders, across boundaries, were all basically referring to the same spiritual nature, or you can substitute the word spiritual with whatever you want, of the universe. Let's just call it the true nature of the universe.
The reality.
The reality, sure. I know Muslims love to say that. I have a Muslim friend who's also pretty woke, and he was lecturing another friend, an intern in the office in 2022, where the intern was like, yeah, but the truth is subjective one. And then he was like, yes, but there's an ultimate truth. I was like, okay. So how can it be, especially when certain Christians say that Jesus was the only one?
Right.
Like, so you're telling me, and the only reason I'm asking this is because Jesus belonged to, physically the man, belonged to a particular region of earth. So just like you're saying Jesus was the only one, Someone in India is saying Shiva is the only one. Someone in the Middle East is saying Muhammad's the only one. Someone in China is saying Guan Yin's the only one. Another dude saying Buddha's the only one. So what? For every race and culture and geographical location, only you guys are smart. Everyone else is a dumb fuck, basically. That's what you're implying. You might not know that you're implying that, but you are. Because how can there be 6 only ones? That's against the definition of the word one. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
So clearly, there's a universal nature, which we don't have to go into right now about what it is, but there's clearly a common denominator. If you look from the point of kindness and love and not violence and let's chop their head off because they don't believe us. If you look from the goal or the sort of notion of kindness and love, clearly all faiths were talking about the same shit. Right? If you want to be politically correct, talking about the same things. Right? So that's, I believe, what your friends are sort of embodying when they say, it doesn't matter what you want to call it, which religion you want to do it under, which temple you want to do it at, which family you want to do it with, which wife you want to do it with, which child you want to teach what. But are you doing that thing which you were referring to, whatever that might be, where you enjoyed your time with them? And coincidentally, but I don't believe in coincidences, on a 3D plane, even Jack Canfield in his book, like the Success Principles, which I recommend forever to everyone, even he's saying joy is your inner guidance system. So how does it matter whether you're joyful in a mosque, a church, a food court right now with a cup of tea, even if a murderer made you a cup of tea, we don't know what that guy's done in his life. Right? This could be the same hands who chopped off a kid's testicles. I'm just saying, like, I don't recommend that. I once had a chopper held to my testicles. Yeah, another story for another day.
Perhaps like Charles not in the same. Oh my God,
Charles, yeah.
Seriously.
I wouldn't know. I haven't gone too deep into it. But it's okay. You don't have to maintain a solemn face or whatever. I laugh about it. So it's cool. So like, we don't know, but if you're enjoying it wherever you're at. But the one thing I wanted to check with you was, when you said you actively pursue the
good.
The good, right? So without going down a rabbit hole of what's good and bad, let's just talk about that word active for a second. I just want to clarify. I think I already know the answer, but for the audience, and so we can put the right vibration out into the universe. You don't mean violently pursue.
Oh, I'm sure.
Through acts of violence, you mean actively, right? You mean incessantly, continuously, with a drive.
Yes.
But not necessarily a non-kind or non-loving drive. Because in some religions, or not even religions, but some people, wherever they may
it's a product of cultural
stuff. Whichever area of the world they might be at, or their upbringing, or the conditioning, and blah, 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 blah. Some do turn violent and then quote God. And say, I have to chop your hands off because I'm this religion. We believe that. I have to kill you in the name of so-and-so, whatever that might be. You don't mean that, obviously.
Definitely not. Definitely not. And thank you for making that clarification. It's important. When I say actively, it does not have to mean a lot of activity either.
Okay.
It has to mean a good amount of virtuous activity in the right direction, at the right time, for the right person, in the right way. It's a lot of things that can go wrong. And it's very hard to get it on the head, nail on the head, on what is the right thing to do. So Zarathustra, in his Gathas, in the Yasna on attaining the Gatha on attaining enlightenment, I think 44, says the best way to find out is through private, quiet meditation. And if you can sit with that thought for long enough, knowing that this is who you truly are, then that is the right thing to do. But if something is fighting you, if you're in a state of conflict, then it might not be your soul speaking. Also on the religious diversity front on different religions saying the same thing. I asked a professor at Yale-NUS who's teaching me my class on Aristotle on what is the nature of God. And he gave me the simplest and the funniest and the most true answer in the world, at least in my understanding. Or I asked him more like, how do I approach God? How do people approach God? And he said, God is a circle. At any point, he is fully complete, or God, his entity, is fully complete. At any point, it is also starting. And the way to understand it is not to go into every faith a little bit, because
or two.
It's not to go into every faith just a little bit and then leave.
Oh.
It is to understand that there is this circle which all leads you to the center. So first you understand that there's so much religious diversity, spiritual diversity in the world. So you kind of thread that circle, and then you choose that one path that you want to go down to reach that center. So you're not only going around, but you're also going to the center through one of the true path. Because if you get confused a little bit, it'll take more philosophical power to just understand that they're saying the same thing than by just going deep into one true path and understanding the nature of the center. At least that's what I inferred from what he said.
That's insane. I'm super excited by that on a personal level. Because my company logo, which I believe is a divine mission, well, it's encased inside a circle. And my personal sigil, which I kind of drew when I was in the middle of my spiritual awakening, like put it together, designed it, is also like a circle with a trident above it, and below it's like this, like, that design they have under the eyes. It's kind of like an eye, but circles, yeah. And I once channeled a quote in the gym which says, "A square will never understand the possibility and balance which a circle brings." Because a circle, like if you let's just imagine like a 3D object, and no matter which way you push it, just like you said, like it's always complete. Even I push it here, it's still balanced. I push it here, is whichever edge, whichever degree it's on, it's perfect. Yeah, man, that's insane. So this is a professor teaching philosophy?
Yeah.
I would say he's teaching spirituality.
At this rate. I mean, philosophy is the closest thing we have in perhaps our school to spirituality.
Shit, do they offer masters? I want to join up.
It's an undergrad only college, but I told you about the music theory class that I think you would love.
Yeah, of course.
We're also talking about religious, spiritual music that you literally embody. And I think some of the music that he played, I could literally feel it in different parts of my body. How is that possible? Different syllables, different songs in your chest, in your throat, in your head, above your head, in your core. It's just vibration, bro. It should go to your ears, right? Is what people would say, as you said.
Yeah, if they haven't studied the chakras.
Yeah,
but if they have studied it, they might say, what you said. But I don't think you have.
I have a vague understanding.
Okay. I thought you were like suddenly, like, it was a coincidence. Or we were talking about that. I was going to tell you that. But yeah, that's insane. I actually think you're super spiritually tuned. Like we said on the rooftop just now. I don't think that there's many people who are this open-minded. Some people hate that word, but I love it because I love the truth. And that's the truth, is open-minded. It's like, so I have a friend, I'm not going to name him. We went to school together and he was the scientist, like always trying to make bells and electric circuits and shit like that. I was like, what the hell are you doing? So in that sense, I thought he was more open-minded when it comes to spirituality. So I meet up around Shenton Way, and then he sits down there, and he's a consultant in a big company. I will not say which big company. So he's sitting there dressed in his corporate wear. I was teaching my fitness course, so I took an office at Marina One because the vibe is awesome. Co-sharing, just co at Marina One. This is 2020. I'm sitting there like in like jeans and black tee, typical tech attire, but also good for coaches. And so I'm coming after the gym, and he's already bought the food. I'm like, wow, thanks so much. We're sitting down. And I was like, why can't you just be a bit more open-minded? And he's like, what does that even mean? Because 3 different people have now told me to be more open-minded. I'm like, there you go. And he's like, 3 different people, including you, have told me to give spirituality a chance. And so, because we're friends and we're good friends, and he's a very nice guy, and I realized there's no point being rude or anything. But I realized his mind is incredibly stuck to this particular topic, just like mine would be to finance. And so, okay, let's take a more gentler route. And then I pulled back to the point of needing to prove something. I just adopted a very calm demeanor. And so by the end, I had him asking questions. He was like, and I could see he was opening up a bit. So it's like, so how do you detect this spirituality? And I was like, do you believe in God? And he's like, I was like, do you pray? Because I remember going to your house in the middle of RI. We'd go home from school to your house, play sleepovers, whatever. And there'd be like an altar, and then mom would be praying and blah, blah. So, and then he was like, yeah, I believe in God. So I was like, so why don't you ask yourself those questions you just quizzed me with? Can you see it? Can you touch it? Can you feel it? And then he was like, okay. So he's like, so then how do you sense this stuff? And then I was like, well, it depends how crazy you want me to speak. Should I speak openly? And then he's like, yeah. I was like, colors, shapes, fairies, goblins, dragons, Jesus, Shiva, Michael Jackson's dead spirit. Then he's like, oh, okay. So,
Might have lost them there, lost him there.
I could see we gave each other a hug when he was going back right outside a big ass multi-billion-dollar office. So I imagine it went pretty well. But yeah, I really like that you're open-minded. And I think that we need more open-minded conversations. And YouTube is the place to do it, man. So because that's what my spirit guide told me in my quantum healing hypnosis technique. Not to sound fancy, I don't like fancy terms, but just to let people know what it was, where the healer asked me to ask him, how am I going to make money? Right? Because I went to him with a money issue in 2019. And the spirit guide kept on saying, that's why I invented YouTube. That's why I invented YouTube. And the healer was like, no, sometimes these guys are stuck in the past. You need to be more direct with them and ask him, but how are you really going to make money? And the spirit guy's like, write the book. Write the book I told you to write.
Yeah.
And the healer's like, no. He's still stuck in La La Land, the spirit, because he's from another dimension. Ask him, how are you going to make money now? And then the spirit guy's like, give people what they want. Whether that's a drumming lesson or a personal training session.
Yeah.
Maybe now Reiki healing. Don't force your wisdom down their throats.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can't force life coaching clients into being. So I just put it out on YouTube for free. And then who comes. Here we are. Why am I explaining to you why we're making a YouTube video?
Something to do with being open-minded.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, cool. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
I don't know if you have any more of that drink, but thanks to be open-minded. Hey guys, so this was Meherwan, and Meherwan is a student at Yale-NUS. And I'll let him tell you the rest. That rhymes, because I'm a musician. This has been happening more and more often the last few weeks, but carry on. Just tell everyone what you do.
Hey, well, even in life, whatever you like, yeah, I just live for the most part. Try to make a positive impact. I'm studying philosophy right now. We'll be graduating from Yale-NUS College at the end of the year here in Singapore. We're here at a coffee shop, and yeah, just really been in the discovery for my own personal meaning and how I'm going to make this world a better place. And been trying to find an intersection of my interests over the past few months and years. Psychology, philosophy, nature, the mind, space, interior design, urban studies, all of these things. And they're kind of falling into place now through human-centric design, bio-inspired design that are all, it's kind of a combination of all these things. At least you need a deep understanding of all these things to be able to design effectively. And in fact, I was reading a book on design yesterday, and they said music is one of the greatest things that you can involve or learn about when you're designing a space. Because the way that your sound echoes in a building, the way that the physical harmony of the building allows you to understand the space is very, very, it's directly presented to you when it's happening, right? And I think we build buildings with the intention to, they look pretty, right? That's number one. And number two is practicality. But there's so many other things. How the building sounds when you walk inside it and you speak.
Yeah.
the echo when you walk through it, when you speak through it. What does that mean?
That's right.
How the walls look, how the ground feels, how it smells. All of these are part of the human experience, right? The 5 senses.
Yeah, totally. 6 senses, 7, 8.
Yeah.
But yeah, 5 to begin with.
Well, let's start beginners, at least for 5.
So definitely important.
Yeah. We call it perceptual preeminence. Your visual perception is just directly there and something that it's so intrinsically attached to what we are that we can't see beyond it.
You would agree.
Yeah, well.
No, but that's true. Yeah.
So it's not only me. That's good to hear.
Of course not, man. Okay, thanks so much, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do remember to subscribe and like the video if you liked it, share it around with your friends, and stay tuned to the next few videos on this channel. Thank you, and bye-bye. Should I do like an official outro?